before we go on with this, I'm going to be blasting various friends with, we're doing a podcast bullshit.
Also, I'm thinking about shaving. This thing is finally...
Oh yeah?
Feels like it's too much. Yeah.
To be honest, you've got quite the Robin Hood look going on.
It does look very Robin Hood-esque, I will admit. I even thought that a little bit when I first got it full. I was like, this reminds me of a random snippet in my mind from Robin Hood Men in Tights, just without the tights.
I mean, I'm not gonna judge if you like tights. That's your prerogative, dude.
No, I'm not a fan of anything tight-fitting.
Okay, I'm going to just say a couple of words right now because I'm on the stream and I'm listening to us. Scorch, you sound good.
Okay.
Arcadius, you sound good. And I just need to get my
Excellent.
voice out there so I can hear it too.
Well, you sound louder this time than last time, so there's a plus.
Yeah, nice and strong. At least to my ear.
Coming in strong.
Now, who else do I
Also,
want to pester about
If
this?
we play and evacuate the shelter mission, we'll actually do our first story-related mission in like a year, it feels like. And evacuate the shelter mission in a 34-plus zone, which should be really easy since that's like the area we've been roaming around in forever.
There. Ba 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 ba. Ta 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 ta. Ta. So I don't know why there's something sitting on our inbox talking about an R-rated Borderlands movie.
What?
But that sounds kind of cool.
I mean, I believe it. A very appropriate rating
If
for
they
such
make
a movie
if they make
adaptation.
an R-rated Borderlands movie, they're still gonna have to bleep out Mr. Torg, right? Like that's part of his character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gotten to Mr. Torg yet, so I don't know.
It's a tiny plot point that he is bleeped out.
Oh, man.
Well, for me, I have to complete a Plankerton Storm Shield defense to
Oh, really?
get the thing. So,
Okay.
oh, friends, why
are
you
the
why
only
you
one
do
that needs
this?
to do that, or is Vast also need that? I'm
Is
wondering if
Vast
we're the
also
only-
need that?
I don't know.
I don't think so. No, I did mine.
Okay, so you were the only one left.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the way that this went down is we did yours, we did mine, and then it was getting kind of late and we stopped.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Well, I remember rolling through mine relatively easy, so I don't think that'd be a big problem.
Yeah.
Go to this side, go to that side.
Yeah,
Go to
but I
this
don't really
side,
want to do
you're
that.
done.
I just kind of want to romp around and talk about things.
Oh, day.
I mean, I give zero shits about this game, so it's something colorful going on in the background when we talk about the real stuff,
My mild
the hard-hitting
advancement,
journalism that we do on this show.
which is making ripples across Dash Radio.
Tens of people.
Yeah,
Oh,
literally
goodness.
one guy told us the
Hey,
Dash
that's worth
Radio
it.
was his
It
thing.
works. It already works.
Yeah.
It's proven itself. Dunskies.
But at this point, we should go ahead and probably start. This is episode 27 of our little show thing that we do. I'm Scorch. Arcadius Zero is here, and so is Vast Empires. It's a podcast, or a show, depending on what
Joe.
series, place you listen to this. Wow, what are we going to talk about? Monster Hunter, Battlefield, Ninja, the streamer, not the historical thing.
Plagiarism.
Although that would be cool.
Plagiarism. We already hit on journalism. Do we just want to talk about plagiarism right now?
That seems to be one of the hot topics as of late. Let's do it.
All right, all right. What am I doing? Where? I don't even remember. So, a dude from IGN. I don't remember his name. We're gonna continue that
Philip
theme.
Mewson.
Mewson.
There we go. With
Wow,
the Q.
that is not a good name.
Unfortunate.
He got caught plagiarizing on an IGN article. Wow, about Dead Cells, a roguelite game that is
Dead
evidently
Cells,
rather
2D
good.
A 2D indie player game.
Yeah.
But I found it more intriguing who he plagiarized from, and it was a very, well, I would say, in the scope of YouTube reviewers, small YouTube reviewer channel, and ripped his entire review almost of the game. And
Yeah.
by almost, I will quote what they said, which was high school levels of plagiarism, which is very appropriate if you go read some of the examples.
Yeah, he quite literally just moved the sentence structure around. It's like one of those things that your high school teacher says you shouldn't do, and it's one of those
Never.
things that they started doing where they put your work through a little algorithm to see if you plagiarize anything, and it all
Yeah.
turns red.
Turnitin.com.
Yeah, turnitin.com, and they're like, you failed. This is a zero.
I remember being on the classes that was at the forefront of testing that thing.
Yeah.
And I remember very explicitly one time I was making sure not to plagiarize. I was writing my own thoughts, and I got flagged. And I was like, what the heck? I spent hours writing this myself. How could I have plagiarized? And the algorithm only matched up like 1 out of like 8 words in my sentences. And it was not close at all. Like, if you read them side by side, it wasn't close. But because it was flagged, my teacher deducted 10 points. I was like,
Are you
son of a
serious?
bitch. Yeah, I was like, look at this goddamn stupid algorithm. It doesn't even work! And I still got docked for it. So I've hated that stuff. It has its place, but when I was on the bleeding edge of it, it didn't work right. But I still
Yeah.
got docked for it. So I have a terrible taste in my mouth for that stuff.
But, sometimes...
Don't do plagiarism.
Sometimes
Don't do
you
it.
wish that could happen when it hits the real world. Mr. Mewson, he,
Well, what has me so bewildered by this is that clearly he, like, this isn't the type of behavior that you
Boing.
start overnight. If you plagiarize as a journalist, it's something that you feel like you can get away with, and you
Maybe
must have
once.
done
yeah,
like multiple times, which eventually, it came out that he has plagiarized throughout his entire career. Before he even joined IGN, he had his
yep.
own, small YouTube site, I believe, and, blog posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So clearly he thought he can get away with it. I don't know why he thought something so blatant going up on a website as popular
A
as
small YouTube channel. Of all the people he stole from, a small YouTube channel.
so
you think it would be the opposite.
I think I might know a little bit about that, because I did all of our reading, our assignment, and all of that, but I also listened to the Wise Words of the Know, and they ran a piece on it, and they said that this came up really quickly on IGN's radar and this other commenter's radar, this reviewer's radar, because it was super noticeable for one reason. The original reviewer of the original review that was plagiarized, the guy broke the NDA by a week and had his video out a week before everybody else. And it was the only thing out there to gather plagiarism words from.
Oh my god.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
Oh my god, this
so
thing up here. God damn it. God damn it.
that quickly came to light that he plagiarized other things, but he probably would never have been caught if the guy the original reviewer had not broken NDA.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. He almost got away with it.
Well, then this is a part that we didn't touch with. He was almost immediately fired from IGN.
Yeah, within 24 hours, right?
Within 24 hours, and then his works were put under like a rigorous review. Or his works were being scrutinized. And
they were sent to turnitin.com.
Basically, as they should have been. And then, like, a certain amount of time later, he released his own YouTube video as an apology. He started out with the Drake sigh, I am so appalled that I need to go out and do this thing.
Wasn't he really defensive about it all? Like,
he was incredibly defensive. He didn't actually offer an apology. It was more like here's my side of the story. It's like,
that was
what?
it?
There's no side. You did something wrong. You did something incredibly wrong.
There's not a variation of this wrong that turns it into your truth that vindicates you.
Your truth.
That's not how this works.
Yeah.
You
really, even if it's games journalism and it's kind of low stakes because it's video games, you're like diminishing the reputation of all journalism by doing that.
Yeah.
Which is why firing him immediately was the absolute right move.
Yeah. I mean, I do think
that stuff out.
I do think it was good that IGN conducted studied it a little bit just to make sure that it was true. If you just went by and fired the guy, that would have different repercussions.
Yeah. Because that just means that whoever speaks loudest or speaks first wins, and that's not how it's supposed to work.
No, it's not. We're not gonna. There are more allegories here, but I'm not going to get into that. But in his video, he like very condescendingly said, I hope that Boomstick Gaming, which is the YouTube channel that broke the story and actually recognizes his works that were being plagiarized, I hope that his channel thrives. Like, he reported this just to get hits or views. Oh, it's terrible.
Oh.
And then he vented his annoyance at the Kotaku editor, who also covered the story, whose name I'm so sorry I cannot remember right now, and said I hope that you can. Well, no, it was like, you won't find anything else on me because this is this was a one-off. It is not indicative of my career in journalism, and if you were like a better writer and not just trying to write for clicks, you would know this, that kind of thing. So
man.
he
man.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He and his fans were like, challenge accepted. Because that writer brought up the fact that his FIFA review looked like it was plagiarized from a Nintendo, an official Nintendo review for FIFA 18, FIFA 19, something like that. And then, of course, people started coming out of the woodwork because everyone's a detective on the internet, and they were bringing receipts left and right. And so pretty much they scrutinized his entire body of work before IGN even, said...
They basically dismantled him brick by brick.
Brick by brick, stone by stone, and basically he was out of here by the and then he removed his video in under 24 hours.
Jeez. Way to fail, bucko.
More like way to go, internet.
Well, both.
It was just one of those things. I just had to. Well, hold on. Let me take this back. I'm kind of glad that it happened, in that we're having this conversation and that people understand the importance of journalism and journalistic integrity and what it means to actually put your words onto paper or onto the internet, and why they need to be your words. That's the old school freshman comp TA in me, who's still pissed off that at her SEC school she had to sit there and watch like 4 freshman footballers think that they can plagiarize their papers.
No.
But it's just one of those things. Like, that's what's so frustrating, that he didn't get caught earlier in his career, and so he just kept on thinking that he can do it and do it and do it, and he progressed while other people whose work he was stealing just honestly didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But his comeuppance has come to pass.
This is true.
He's definitely gonna have to at least go back to school or something, pick up a different profession, become a plumber or something, because I don't think anybody's gonna hire him anywhere that requires an opinion, at any time ever.
I think he has a Patreon still. I don't know what's going to happen with him.
Gross.
I know. Don't give him your money, guys.
No,
there are
really,
other people out there who with more integrity, and more accurate, and more importantly, their own thoughts, who can tell you what you need to hear, or what you want to hear, or a different opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Much like the opinions we provide on this channel, DerNami Gaming. Subscribe now.
Plagiarized.
Plagiarized.
So that was our first news of the day. And if you are interested in this story, again, you can go to YouTube. There's been a lot of good gaming journalism about this whole thing, and you can go to, as I said, the Kotaku articles and some of the other places, and it's just good stuff. Also, don't plagiarize, kids. It's not cool.
Really, don't do that.
Will ruin your future.
Man, that guy.
And that reminds me of the time that a coworker plagiarized a set of calculations for a pressure vessel. That went over real well.
Oh man,
this doesn't line up. Of course it doesn't, because it's not even the same part.
Or like when I was in sophomore year of high school, and I was doing programming, like basic JavaScript programming.
God.
And I ripped my entire final from the internet and got an A.
Admittance of plagiarism.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who's gonna stop me now? The teacher? No, I already got my grade and passed. Plus, I'm never doing that ever, so you know.
Oh man.
So let me toss out a segue right quick. How about it?
Hit it.
That guy has been censored just as hard as China is censoring Monster Hunter World. Boom!
Dun, dun, dun. And it really is kind of making people baffle, not at the fact that China is censoring, because they censor anything and everything.
They do that all the time.
But the fact that they gave previous approval, and then without merit or reason, took it away.
Yeah.
Just gone. And they were asked, but we have approvals. Why is it? Nope, too late. We're taking it away. And that's the end of it. And China does not have to give you a reason.
It was already in distribution and all that. It was already in circulation, right? Like people were already playing it
and downloaded the game, and then they just pulled it. Done. End of story.
So
nope, we're not allowing this game anymore.
From my understanding, Tencent, which owns the distribution company that distributed Monster Hunter World, is only giving people 20% back for their purchase?
Well, I think no, they were doing full refunds within. I think the 20 is within 20 days.
Oh, okay.
They are allowing a time span of 100% refund, but if they do not do it within the time allotment, they do not get the opportunity for a full refund.
I see.
Instead, it will shift to a discounted refund, which is fair.
I see. That's along with not plagiarizing, don't do that kind of thing, folks. It makes you look like China, and China's not looking good.
You don't want to be. You don't want to be like them.
Don't want to be China, you guys.
No.
So have we had any explanation from the Chinese government? Like, I think I read somewhere that it had something to do with them, quote unquote, curbing the problem with gaming addiction. Like, is there any truth to that?
One person's estimate that I saw was because one of the latest bosses dealt with killing was a particular dragon that matches close to some of the Chinese folklore stuff. They kind of saw it as irreproachable, and then they basically censored it on the grounds of an attack on their culture. That was a far-reaching possibility. I might see it because there are people in China that loony to rip something for something that menial, but they do it. So it could have been just one of those dragons resembled something from Chinese history, and therefore they're like, nope, you're not going to stamp on our history, not one boot mark. And then they ripped it from the market.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I suppose it could work that way, but, you know.
Well, I guess we'll see if, like, Dragon Hunter Universe comes out in China within the next couple of months, and see if that has anything to do with it.
Ooh, Dragon Hunter Universe.
Dragon Hunter, you know, that game.
A friendly, Chinese-sanctioned, no Winnie the Pooh knockoff of Monster Hunter World.
China's censoring stuff. So, okay, although it's funny that they're censoring stuff the way that they are, since we're on the topic of censor, total different side note. Google employees have begun protesting the setup of the Google censored version for China.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I don't know if it's gone as far as people have refused to work on it now, but I know for a fact that it's gaining a lot of traction, and it's starting to garner more and more attention. FYI, for those
That's
who are
good.
Not in the loop.
That's good if you know, if
They're
you're
not aimlessly
following anything.
doing this at the Google.
No.
There
Anytime
are
you
actually
have
reasonable people who work at the Google or
Yeah,
Alphabet or whatever
yeah.
you want to call them.
the alphabet,
Yeah.
the owners of the world.
Basically, they will.
Didn't-
If they don't right now, they will.
Yeah.
Didn't they remove their "Do No Evil" clause?
I didn't even know they had a do no evil clause.
Yeah, it was one of their original, like
Like a
business
tenant?
tenants, or business tenants, and it was "Do No Evil,"
Huh. Okay.
or
Rather
something
than
along those
remove, it
lines.
might have been split, since they are broken up into Alphabet, Google, and other sub companies. So
Okay.
it might be a move and reword type clause, but it still might exist.
Yeah. Well,
I
remind
can't
me to
claim
just
to
look
know.
that up.
I've not decided
Okay.
to sit
Do that
down and
right
read
now.
8
Yeah.
hours of legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, I'm not big on the whole legal thing. I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be fighting for your rights in the courtroom or anything like that.
I already have to do that for work, so I don't want to do it in my leisure at
Yeah,
all.
definitely not.
A quick Google search, and I always forget that I'm sitting next to a laptop. Why didn't I just look these things up while we're talking about it? But as of May of this year, Google removed their "Don't Be Evil" clause from its code of conduct.
Huh.
What
Removed
exactly
it,
does
huh?
that entail, though?
I
Yeah, it
think it
seems
was
pretty-
just a general statement, and it was part of their corporate code of conduct since 2000. So 18 years.
Wow.
It was
Huh.
don't be evil, and then once they turn 18 and are about to go out to college, they're like, we can be a little evil.
I think we can
Yeah.
start drinking underage.
Minor
All that.
minor levels of evil allowed.
All right. I mean, I
Oh.
guess as long as you send me better search thingies than Yahoo does, I'm good.
Or being
Or Bing.
Well, last thing about this, and then they had modified it once they become Alphabet, like Arcadius mentioned, that it's a slightly adjusted version that says "Do the right thing."
Oh, okay. There's still wiggle room in that.
There's
So they
some,
took
but
it
there's
to
a
you could
lot
be
of wiggle room in
blunt
that.
You
version
could be,
and made it more
you know,
professional
the
sounding.
cheeky do the right thing kind of like Cowboy Bebop style of do the right thing. That is like fuck shit up, but if it's all good at the end of the day, then it's all good. Which I'm fine
They're
with.
a little larger, so they need a slightly wider approach.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't curse as nearly as much in their, legal script as I just did,
Yeah.
but
It's the thought that counts.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, my ankle just popped, and it was wonderful.
That was
You-
a little bit off topic, but the...
It
No, I
was.
think that was a good topic to touch.
But hey, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's get into this silly ninja story, because I kind of want to talk about this silly ninja
Okay.
story.
Um,
So for those who don't know, there is a particular YouTuber who plays a lot of Fortnite. He has a lot of followers, and during an interview, he was asked why doesn't he play with more female gamers, because it became a trend that he only played with online, specifically in parties with male gamers. And his excuse for why he doesn't, or okay, reason. In his eyes, it's a reason, but the reason he alleges he does not play with female gamers online is so that way he does not have any potential of crossing boundaries in terms of verbal flirtatious scenarios that would be, what's the words he used? Unfair to his wife, because he is a married man. Now, they have
They are
also
celebrating
prefaced
their
this,
one-year
or
anniversary.
posted this story with the fact that she did not in any way impose this on him. This was an entirely self-imposed thing that she was not aware of until he announced it or made it public.
yeah.
So there is no, like, she's got her thumb on him or anything like that. He's just like, no, I don't play with people because I don't want to even remotely look like I'm flirting and be unfair to my wife. And when I first heard this, I was like, oh, okay, well, that's, strong commitment to relationships. And then I started thinking about it a little more, and I was like, no. If you've got, I'm just going to throw this out there as a generalization. If you have a rock-solid relationship, this is not something you worry about.
No.
Because you have a rock-solid relationship. And that is why, after having put thought into it, this guy's retarded. Like, this is totally unnecessary. And he has taken something that doesn't even need to be a talking point, blown it up into a talking point, and now it is a talking point that the entire internet knows he's talking about. So it's not even something that you would do for the sake of clicks. It's literally something that he gaffed. Like, that's the sum of it. He made a gaffe. And now he's going to have to figure out how to dig himself out of it. And I'm sure his wife's like, honey, you probably didn't need to go that far. Because she hadn't said a word so far as articles that I've seen. She's just like, this is kind of awkward. Maybe you probably shouldn't have done this, is what I'm thinking she would say. But I don't know.
I want to interject real quick that I believe his wife is YouTube or Twitch. I think they're almost exclusively on Twitch.
Yeah.
Personality. And she appears on his stream from time to time, and she is a gamer. So I just want to interject that because that's going to be a point that I make after we get a little further in here.
Well, wouldn't that make his argument even dumber because she's a part of the community that he is partially shunning?
Yeah? I mean, we're not saying that this argument makes any sense. It's quite contrary.
No, but just
this dude
that almost goes to his own detriment even farther. I can't play with any of you gamer girls, even though my wife is a gamer, and she understands that things are said online that aren't meant in truth. But just to make sure that I don't appear that I'm cheating on my wife in any way in a vulgar sense of the word, I'm just not going to associate with females online.
I would really love this little short that I know is going to pop out on the internet eventually. It just has to happen. Of Ninja trying to explain to his wife, honey, it's okay. The woman that you saw in my stream was you. Everything is fine.
So I came from this like on a slightly different bend, and I gave him just a little bit of leeway because I do enjoy following like celebrity doings. I'm nosy basically, so I'm not I'm not so much like following everyone on Twitter or all that kind of stuff, or like, and I'm not ever in everyone's Instagram DMs like trying to get the scoop, but I do follow celebrity happenings, and I have like in an anthropology type way, like I enjoy studying social media and the interactions that fans have with their celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
be it like a Twitch star or your standard movie star,
It's all
model,
acceptable as
music
long as you
stars.
call it a hobby.
Yes. So, like, from that perspective, I was giving him a little leeway because nowadays, the more contact creators have with their fans, the more it seems like fans expect from them and really integrate their identity into their celebrity of choice, right? Basically,
Unless you
people.
don't get swept up by the desires of your fans and you set for yourself some stringent ground rules. No, this is what I'm going to do. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. And then be
Arcadius,
done
he
with it.
doesn't stream with women, okay? How hard
I know.
do you have to
I
get?
know.
But and
That
so
wasn't
like
quite the context I was referring to, but okay, yeah.
and so like that's kind of like where I'm going with this. Like I understand from his perspective him saying that if I am online and if I am streaming with someone of the opposite gender, that my fans or their fans are going to immediately start rumor mills and start shipping us and start doing this, and there'll be pictures all over the internet and they'll send a lot of vitriol to my wife. Like that happens on a daily basis to just about anyone who has more than 100 followers. You know
But
what I
to
mean?
me, that's almost
So
like asking the internet, "Don't troll me," to which you will be immediately inundated.
so
I
like that's
just
what I
think
said. I gave him.
it's just an acceptable thing that happens, and that's just something you'd have to move on from and treat it like it is, just
Okay,
nonsense.
so that's where I was going with this. Like, I gave him that little bit of leeway. However, he is a celebrity. He does have a platform,
Yeah.
and in saying that, he's acknowledging what part of the problem in the gaming community is, and that is it can be not everyone, but it can be very juvenile, very closed-minded, and very hateful towards female gamers.
Oh yeah,
And he
absolutely.
has a platform where he can, if not change people's minds, normalize what has always been normal, that women and girls game. Women and girls are nerds. Women and girls have always inhabited these spaces, but they've just been kind of separated out, mainly because we don't want to deal with that kind of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And so, in
Well,
him,
nobody
like,
would. No sensible person would, I could imagine.
no sensible person would. And so that's where like I'm like, no, I can't follow you here, Ninja, because you are someone who can help change this perception and say to your fans and followers, hey, don't be like that. But he is instead saying, hey, my fans and followers, I'm making $500,000 a month on Twitch.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't want you to do anything different. I don't want you to be anything different, and I don't want to be anything different to you so I can continue to make my $500,000
Don't
a
rock
month.
my boat.
Don't rock my boat. That's what I feel like this is. And so, yeah, that's my stance. It's a
All
little
right.
disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. I really don't have anything to add to this other than I think his excuse is really flimsy and like asinine to the core. But that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude needs to think about what comes out of his mouth before he, spews things out of his mouth.
Too late.
Yep. That guy. That guy.
Let's go on to some positive news. Huh?
Is there positive
Really? Is
news
there
this
positive
week?
news?
I mean, some.
We
of
can
the
talk
good
about
Anthem
Anthem.
notes that
Anthem
have
is
come
positive.
out.
We like Anthem.
Anthem is positive,
Of course
yes,
it's
and we are
positive.
so excited about Anthem. Go, let's go.
All right, so they had an AMA on Twitter.
Or an
Yes.
AMAAAA or whatever the the full Anthem acronym was. I thought that was funny.
Ask me anything about Anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
Yeah.
It was an AMA.
So we got some cool little things about Anthem, like the fact that, unfortunately, there will be microtransactions, but everything that is cosmetic, everything that is a microtransaction is cosmetic. It's not going to affect any kind of gameplay that you're going to have, and cosmetics are earnable through grinding in the game. So you're not going to be missing out anything like that. We also found out things that we kind of already knew, like the game is always going to stay third person and you need to cool your javelin thrusters every once in a
Mhm.
while.
But he did confirm something that I didn't see in the trailer video that they released, which is if you stay underwater too long, there is a breath meter. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nor
that's
did
true.
I see it when they plunged into the water. So I guess that's after a pretty long duration of time.
Yeah.
Anyways, side note, continue.
They also showed off the emblems for every single javelin and then told everybody to notify their closest tattoo
Tattoo
artist.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit extreme, but people will do it. So
Well, you know.
people.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the worst symbol to tattoo on your body. Like
No.
they are actually pretty cool looking.
They
I've
are.
seen worse. I've seen worse.
Okay, so I'm not gonna like mention names or go too deep into this, but there was a person at my work that I ran into that I had to deal with that had a big old Destiny logo tattooed onto the back of his arm.
No.
Big, huge codpiece Destiny logo on the back of his arm. Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
That's called a badge of regret.
Oh man. Well, all I can say is it's a good thing that laser tattoo removal is a thing now.
Is a thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, dude. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
My man, gotta think before you ink, man.
Think
Yeah,
before you
against
ink.
his better judgment, or in this case, non-judgment.
Yeah. Ah.
But yeah, and the other confirmation was everyone starts out with the exact same suit. I think it's the Ranger suit, but
Yeah.
then all the subsequent suits are earned in story, so you will be able to unlock the other 3 no problems.
Yeah.
And there is no limit to the combination of suits in play with friends online or in the open world.
Yeah. They did say that having certain types of combos of suits out in the open world will help you along, but you're not limited to one for one thing.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Options.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it kind of works the same way, even though we just brought it up, as Destiny played, that if you mixed the combos of classes, it would help out.
Yeah. Only I think in a more dynamic and fitting way other than, do you want this giant magic explosion right here or over there?
Yeah.
They also mentioned that, or confirmed that, yes, we'll only have the 4 suits at launch. And then they said anything else we're not talking about, implying that there may be more suits coming down the pipeline, which I'm excited about. It's one of the things I liked about Titanfall 2, even though I didn't purchase any of them. And,
Titanfall 2 is so good!
It was
actually
such a
really
good game.
good.
I sincerely hope they get a chance to do a 3, and that they don't put it between 2 heavily favored games.
Yeah, which
Like
feeds into
Battlefield
something
5
else.
is doing.
But I
We'll
want to
get
go back.
that.
Hold on, I still have one
I know,
thing
I know.
about Anthem.
Yeah, there's a couple
Anthem.
more things. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one thing that I want to mention that I really would like to get y'all's opinion on, and it
I got
was when he was talking about the idea that some weapons are suited for some certain javelins. For instance, if you pick up a really heavy weapon that an interceptor is not going to be able to carry it around, it would be suited more for a Colossus. But that makes me think that a lot of the weapons are going to be interchangeable between suits, and that you could swap components around depending on how you wanted to set things up, which means that you're going to have a universal basis for parts, which is cool. And I want to know if you guys think that that's kind of on the money, or like if I'm just stretching a little bit too far, or if I need to ease up on the Kool-Aid or what.
No, I would agree with you, only purely, at least by the point that because you are able to earn all 4 of the suits and interchangeably use all 4 of the suits, I would imagine there is a somewhat of a common currency or part structure to the suits. Because if you play one suit and then decide to switch to another in the world, if all of your experience and stuff stayed in a suit, you couldn't world progress smoothly without having to put in time in another suit. But if you don't earn the suits till later, that would imply that you get under-leveled suits later for an over-leveled area.
That's true.
And therefore you wouldn't actually have what they call a balance. So
I mean,
purely by that standpoint, I believe that if they want to maintain a really good sense of balance and ease of, I want to say ease of play, not by meaning that the game is easy, but, you know, smooth gameplay that's not frustrating because you have to do these other things in order to even make the game playable, because they're trying to promote the fact that this game is playable just about any way you want to slice it. And they're not going to impede that, I would imagine, by having specialty parts for all the individual suits. Maybe some for, like, you know, the weapons that are only for those suits. But for generic stuff, I'd imagine it's a common currency or a common part share.
I would think that in the beginning there would be a lot of commonplace parts, but as you got further on, you could get more unique specialty parts for your equipment. I think that would be a really cool progression.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Like I said, you could have some specialty parts for a specific suit because it's a specialty weapon for that suit. So there's no point in earning parts for the other suits because it's only for that suit.
Yeah.
So they can specialize a few of the currency parts. I'd buy that. But for all of them to be like that, I think it would hurt game progression.
Vass, what are your thoughts? I'm dying to know.
Well, I was sitting here trying to remember what we already knew about progression, and I feel like they said, either at E3 or during this AMA, that your overall progression is going to be split between suit and pilot, or javelin and pilot.
Yes. Pilot upgrades will carry across all the suits.
Okay, and then the actual javelin itself will have its own progression system. So I'm really curious about how that's going to work with the weapons. I personally kind of want to see that type of specialization where, like you're saying, there is this big heavy flamethrower. The heavy flamethrower can really only be used by the Colossus, because if you're an what is the wizard? The storm.
The storm.
Storm rider.
Yeah.
The storm.
Okay, the storm. Like, you are too heavy. I mean, that would be too heavy for your suit to wield. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've also actually, I'm more in favor of the specialization and having the suits be, you know,
and to a
let you
degree,
gear down towards that.
I almost agree, because if you see someone in the open world and they've got that suit loadout, you know that all they've done is play that suit, and they have the absolute bee's knees weapons for that suit.
I think it would be really, really funny if you could find any weapon while you were playing as any suit, and you could equip any weapon with any suit. But if you picked an overweight weapon, you just have to, like, drag it around slowly behind you. Like, you would do an absolute fuck ton of damage, but you would not move for shit. You're, like, planted in an area because it's too heavy.
Make you near useless simply because of how heavy it is.
Yeah. I'm going to press the button. I'm tired of wandering around.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Mash the button.
I think that would be...
Oh, it's this way.
I think that would be hilarious.
They might do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
But then would it be the opposite? You get this little pea shooter, and the Colossus looks like he's, like, shooting out of his knuckles.
Yeah, if he got, like, an SMG, and it was, like a PPK in the hands of the Big Show, it'd be like, what are you doing?
Oh, man.
That was weird. Alright. It is on.
Just before we move on from Anthem, I did want to say that It was Mark Dara, because I feel like we as in general need to be better about names, and specifically me. But Mark Dara is the executive producer on Anthem, and he was the one who was behind the AMA.
Yeah.
And he did post a picture about the floating damage numbers, and so that is something that you can toggle off. It will be in the menu screen. You can do it. And in sending that picture out, he gave us a little bit of a sneak peek into the UI of the game. I don't know. I kind of expected it to be a little more.
More UI?
The UI to be a little more spacey.
Oh. So what did you think of it? Was it like a cut down version or what?
No, I mean I'm not saying it's anything bad. I just mean like I just thought it would be a little bit more space agey.
I see.
Well, based on how the game setting looks like, it's kind of a scrappy sort of setup that the world is in right now. Because some areas in the trailer, if you remember, it's like a garbage turned into like functional equipment. So they're not exactly super spacey.
Also, UI is one of those things that is tweaked and polished and changed up until the release of the game and even past the release of the game. So the things that they show might not be the final version of what we get.
This is true. And just so anyone thinks, like, I'm not complaining or anything like that. I was like, I just thought it would be a little bit more space agey.
Yeah. I think we'll get a sufficient amount of spaciness. What I would really love is for some story, though. I want me some story.
Need me some.
And I'm hoping. Story. Oh God, that guy's right there. I'm really hoping that BioWare can deliver on their story, like I know that they can.
So. I'm still holding out on that pre-order. So far, I haven't heard any negativities like what happened the last time.
Well, you know,
put out pre-orders. But
the pre-order thing is really biting Battlefield in the ass right now.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
To slide in another segue. Kaboosh!
Nice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can do that when I want to. So, pre-order sales are weak for Battlefield 5. Probably because of a whole bunch of reasons. But
let's talk about some of those reasons.
We want to pick out some of our favorite reasons.
Hit it.
Yeah.
Arcadius, you have the floor.
At the top of the charts. World War II for the 80th time.
Yeah. Not interested in World War II, you guys. Not interested.
And they're like, Call of Duty's done this. Battlefield has already done this technically way back when. So why are we doing it again? That's what players are thinking. Why are we doing this again?
That's definitely what I'm thinking. I have zero interest in the game, specifically because of that fact.
They're probably like, oh, well, let's just chronologically ramp up this game. Not the best idea. You've had better.
Yeah.
You've had better. Reach back into the hat, please.
Reach back into the hat, please.
Yeah. Like that. Oh, wow. They got a lot of carols here.
Yeah.
But I just think that's the biggest impediment. Now, they're claiming that they are sandwiched between like a Red Dead Redemption game release, and I forgot what the one in front of it was.
Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yeah, the Black Ops 4. They're claiming that since it's between those releases, that it's suffering much like Titanfall 2 did between releases.
I think that's a valid idea.
I want to say that's kind of valid. I don't like to give EA too much leeway because F them. But that is really valid because we saw what happened to Titanfall 2.
Yeah, we did. And Titanfall 2 is a really good game. It just came out at an unfortunate time, which was kind of sad.
Yeah. And
gameplay was solid and tight, and the story was great.
Started playing it, they're pretty much going to stay vested in it for a little while to beat the game and maybe do a little ancillary playing and then decide, okay, I'm ready to move on to another game. So if they miss that wave because they're already playing games, That's probably definitely why the pre-orders are going to be down.
Yeah.
Of course, they're only using pre-orders as a cursor. Once people are done playing, they're like, oh, that new Battlefield came out. Then they're going to buy the Battlefield, and they're going to play the Battlefield, and then... I mean, Battlefield stay out for years. I mean, look how long Battlefield 1 has run.
I know.
It's... How many deals? They're on like the... Is it the 6th
They're
or 7th DLC?
They're on Apocalypse. I think it's the 5th DLC, which is free right now. If you own the game, you can go and purchase it. Well,
that's
download it right now.
Yeah, there's so many updates that are still to date happening on Battlefield 1, and they're trying to start pushing the Battlefield 5 pre-orders.
Yeah.
So the fact that Battlefield 1 is still running strong, players are going to be like, nah, and they're just going to keep playing.
Yeah,
and
I know people that are still playing Battlefield 4, so which is 2 generations ago.
Well, if you think about it, they've, you know, for people that don't care for old war nostalgia, they don't like the gameplay, they don't like the weapons, they don't like the settings. To them, it's just like, this is uninteresting. And so they're going to keep playing the modern stuff because, like I suggested, the next Battlefield game needs to be a freaking futuristic shooter, in my opinion. And that's going to finally refresh their, you know, play genre. But since that's not the case, the closest thing they can get to that is still using, you know, modern firearms in games.
Yeah.
Not, you know, friggin' what's some of those ones?
Thompson submachine gun, M1 Garand.
Or the Kabul, the stupid pistol. Like, people were probably like, what is this? They thought it was a fake gun until they read the little history card on it, and they're like, oh my god, this is real.
Are you talking about the little tiny one in Battlefield 1?
Yes, the one that you hold with, like, the 2 fingers.
Oh, yeah. The tiniest cartridge and gun ever made.
Yeah, it's that thing.
Yeah. Man. But there are a few other reasons that we can hit if you want. And I know that you do.
Do it.
Another reason is EA, you done fucked up with Battlefront 2, you tools.
Ooh,
We are still feeling the repercussions.
Still got a salty taste.
More than a salty taste. It's like chewing down an entire jar of anchovies at this point.
Covered in rubber.
Covered in rubber. Look, you really burned the community when you did that to us, EA. And you tried to make good on your faux pas, but the internet and gamers remember.
Oh, yeah.
Like Pepperidge Farm remembers.
They never forgave, but they never forget.
Yeah. EA has always been kind of a scummy company in many gamers' opinions.
Ooh. Since we just remembered you brought up EA being scummy, I've got a highlight on that. Tangent.
All right.
Okay. A Reddit user who goes by the tag Flying Officer accused EA of deleting his Player Origin account. Now, he had several things happen to where he couldn't, you know, use his questions to retrieve his password, because when he did that, the system literally told him this account doesn't exist. He contacted EA, and basically they stonewalled him, denied culpability for the loss, and just cut him off. However, the gamer's story was spread by thousands of gamers online, and according to the article, EA eventually changed their tune and was able to create the missing profile. The reason for the deletion is still unknown. That's the summary of it. And he goes into it where this little bit of detail is kind of ridiculous. So the account was deleted, and according to him, it contained games worth thousands of dollars. So apparently he uses his Origin account.
He's a heavy EA user.
He's a heavy EA user. And he provided credit card information, banking information, timestamps, and emails to prove he had purchased all of these games. Gave them a Rolodex of histories. And they said, nope, there's nothing that matches the account. The account has been deleted. So then, because the reason they gave was that they had received a deletion request. When the player asked EA, please provide evidence of this deletion request, and when it was requested, they were unable to do any. And they purportedly claimed they couldn't verify any of Flying Officer's claims because all the account details he was attempting to verify had been deleted. And then after that, EA deleted the gamer's case ID and prevented him from tracking details of the conversation they had been having.
Oh my
Flying
gosh.
Officer, quote, then posted a log from a subsequent conversation with EA Help. The representative appears to repeatedly stonewall the gamer, going in circles, all without offering any adequate responses to the gamer's queries or evidence to back up their own arguments. EA then deleted the case ID again.
Good lord.
So this spread at rapid pace on Reddit, where, Flying Officer basically said, thank you to the community who's supporting him. And now, after the entire community uproared about it, EA changed their tune, and the company eventually recovered the Gamer Soldier's ID onto a new account. Although the downside was a few of his games did not get recovered with the account, and his pre-order for Battlefield 5 was gone. However, they did provide him with 12 months of free use of the Origin Premiere, which he stressed he did not ask for, and they were unable to recreate the saved data from any of those games.
Wow. So they
But he
like
said he's at
wiped
least
his
satisfied he got his
library.
But his final comment was, quote, I am quite satisfied that I got my soldier ID back. So he's got his record back. It just doesn't contain anything in it. So all his saved data is gone. Most of his games are returned except a few, and something he just pre-ordered was erased, which means he has to pre-order it again. So EA stole his money.
Wow, EA.
Let that see who's the saltiest sea dog right now. It's going to be that guy.
Oh.
Wow.
Yep,
EA.
tangent.
But this is a good
And
tangent.
It is, and it's relevant, because we're talking about EA being scummy.
Yeah.
Well,
God.
that actually goes into another
It does. It opens up so many
conversation.
Pandora's boxes of topics.
Pandora's loot boxes?
Oh, Pandora's loot boxes. Absolutely.
Please give me Pandora's loot boxes. Okay, I'm just gonna say this real quick because I'm keeping track of the clock, and we do have a couple more topics. But this is one of the things that concerns me when it comes to the increasing move to the streaming services for our games. Just because your customer service representative could be like a complete and total bad person, delete your shit, and then give you that kind of runaround. And what if you don't know to go to social media to complain, Your stuff is just gone. All your money is gone. All the stuff that you purchased is gone.
Yeah. You took it all. And even though you've purchased it and you have the rights to own it, you don't actually tangibly own it. So you can't, in effect, recover it. It's just gone.
Yeah. Just one of those things.
That's one of the downsides of the digital medium.
I mean,
cloud-based games.
I still enjoy it. There are a few things that I'd like to bring up about that, in that I am not going through any kind of company like EA. I'm going through a company like Sony that compiles media through their own services.
This is true.
And it's not like one company except for Sony, which has a pretty decent reputation with all of this, to be perfectly honest.
That's true.
I can't see at this particular point in time, though it is possible that Sony would do something like that to its base.
Maybe. I mean, technically, any of those big companies could do it. They're big enough, and they're like, oh, what's the complaints of one person?
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, unless you go to Reddit and you help blow it up, then it becomes a big deal, and then they have to address it.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be like, oh, silly you, pshoff. Here, go buy this limited edition 500 million PlayStation. Which is gorgeous,
I'm sure
by the way.
that will ease your tears.
Look, it's translucent blue and has the factory number
Oh.
plated on it.
Gold plating. Gold plating.
So I don't normally ask this, but is there any way I can get this crowdfunded? Because I am so close.
I thought people were trying to do that.
Well, so I think pre-orders come out next week. I think so. 24th
Oh my god.
is the day that you can pre-order it, and there's only going to be 50,000 of the 5.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those are going to be
It's
snapped
limited
up
run.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh
they
yeah.
are.
You gotta be and to make it worse, the pre-order opens up on like British time. So you're
Oh
gonna...
no!
Oh, all the Brits are getting all the consoles.
Does it start on GMT?
Yes. Hold on, let me go and look this up so I can not lie to our people
To
who are listening to this podcast.
It opens
Oh,
on
yeah,
Everyone in the
radio.
UK
GMT.
is going to snatch up like 20,000. Like
Oh.
at least half of these consoles are going to be in the UK, unless they put a
man.
limit
Pretty
on the
bad.
region. I doubt it.
Yeah,
How many regions
I mean,
are there? Are there 5 regions?
A lot.
10,000 for each? No. Okay, well then never mind.
Unless what happens is the early birds buy it up and then turn around and try to resell them, obviously for markup since they're limited
yeah.
edition.
well, you know that's going to
Okay.
happen anyway.
I know, but I mean, like now the game is how exorbitant is this price going to be?
Yeah,
And the guy
Yeah,
buys
just-
it for what, 500 and goes to sell it for 1,000.
I think we're going to be reaching into the 5 figures on this.
5 figures?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think we might. I think we might.
But I mean, it's basically a reskinned PS4 Pro. Like,
Yeah.
That's really internally what it is.
Yeah,
Although it does have a larger hard drive. I don't think yours has 2 terabytes, does it?
I have a 1 terabyte. That's
Okay, so they
standard with a
doubled the
PS4
space
Pro.
Just to say they did.
Yep. And it's
But-
absolutely beautiful. And just so everyone knows who does listen to this on Dash Radio, and who are subscribed to us on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch for more amazing content.
Plug, 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 plug,
Pre-orders-
plug, plug.
Pre-orders for
Gotta be
this
done.
is on August 24th. So if you're up, it doesn't say what time though.
Sneaky.
Yeah, it doesn't say what time on this one. But the 24th, that's when you need to rush out and find it.
Yep.
That's when the internet's gonna bog down with all these people online trying to get that PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'll
Not
think
really.
about
Probably
it.
not that many getting on, but still, it's gonna
I'll
be a hot
be
item.
up.
Best is like, I'm gonna get it.
I really want it.
That gold-plated
It's
goodness
nice.
is gonna be mine.
It's cool. It's cool looking, man. I don't blame
I
you one
honestly
bit.
am just going to keep my money socked away for the next-gen console.
Yeah, and
probably a
so
good
that's the
call.
other thing. I really am wanting that Switch too. So I probably won't, but
Yeah.
I'll be thinking about it.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
porting Diablo 3 onto the Switch. That's one of the
Really?
many Diablo titles that they're working on right now. And we know that they're kind of doing Diablo 4 from, like job listings and all of that. We know that Diablo 4 is in the works. So
So that was something I
OP
didn't-
Mode.
I did not put on this list only because Gamescom is next week,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then so there'll be more information about that, and then of course BlizzCon is in November, I believe. So we'll have even more information about that too.
We'll be hitting that anyway.
Well, we're starting to wind down. There's a couple more topics that I just wanted to touch lightly. And
Do
one of
we-
them,
Okay.
the television shows that are being adapted
yeah, that's
for
weird.
Life is Strange and Vampire.
Vampire?
Vampire?
I think it's Vampire.
hmm So what do you guys think about that? We've talked about video games being translated into movies and how that doesn't always work and some of the reasons why. That's on another one of our podcasts, which you can totally listen to on
Mhm.
YouTube.
Absolutely.
I think we talked about Assassin's Creed in that one.
Yeah, we talked about Assassin's Creed. But Vampire, which was released earlier this year, is getting a television show on Fox.
Yeah. It's by the
I did read the
same
synopsis
people that made Sons of Anarchy, so it might be
Sons
good.
of Anarchy and Homeland. Yeah, like
Yeah. Might be
And
good.
the synopsis of the game, because I had never played that game, is
It
you
just
are
recently
a
came out.
doctor who has just recently been turned by a vampire while you were in the middle of trying to find a cure for a plague in the city. And so now you have to, or now the guy basically is trying to continue to find answers to the plague and how to cure it while also having to feed off the very people he's trying to help.
It's a cool idea. It's an absolutely cool idea. Now, will it translate to good passive entertainment? I don't know. That's
Who knows?
kind of hard to think about. Also, you need to deploy the drone here.
Well, that's what you were here, hot pants.
I got it. I got it. Ah.
Seems as though I am missing action. Not coming.
Yeah, and they are also doing Life is Strange. That's also being adapted as a television show, which I think actually has. Well, let's face it, a lot of people love vampires and supernatural, so that show has legs. But I think the storytelling that they try and do in Life is Strange, definitely has legs, and so I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with it.
Do me a favor, Vast, and tell me how it does, because I don't think I'm going to be picking it up at all. I'm not really a traditional media-ish person. Like, that kind of thing.
I'm just not really one for the vampire themes. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I think this is one of the things that they really are going to have to deal with, is that gamers like video games, and that's what they do, is they play video games. And that's where they get their stories and their media, is interactive entertainment. And it's cool to always have more of that environment, of that story, of that lore that you enjoy. But there's only so far that you're willing to go if you can't mess around with the story that's inside it, like we've grown accustomed to with a video game.
Or move at your own pace.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a very valid point. I think that in terms of like a game like Vampire, I believe it's sold right now roughly 400,000 copies across the different platforms, like PS4, PS4, Windows, PC, and Xbox One. And they might be tapping into some of those people who do want more lore, but I think it's more of a testament to how strong the storytelling or the story behind those games are than them trying to tap into the gamers market to get those people. They're going to video games and saying, actually, this is a cool story that we can translate for a different media and get those people to watch. That's how I'm looking at it.
It's pretty valid, too.
I'll buy that.
Also, I'm going to have to interject and say that Albadar is in the chat.
Hey, Albadar!
Good
Hello, Albadar.
buddy. Albadar, welcome, bro. He says fell asleep after work.
Still back.
We are almost done.
Yeah? You might have to rewind the tape on this one, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about Patrick Soderlund flying the coop.
We can, because there's some interesting side stories about that I saw while watching The No earlier.
Plug.
It's a good show.
Patrick Soderlund, longtime worker at DICE and heavily chained to the wonderful boulder that is EA worker, has left DICE for various reasons that he didn't really get into all that much, did he?
No.
No.
This is strangely coming out at about the same time that they are estimating that Battlefield 5 pre-orders are weak.
Mm-hmm.
And it is also coming around the same time that people are kind of pissed that Battlefield 5 is not historically accurate. It's a video game, you guys. It's a video game.
But
Anyway,
they went like wild with the
yeah,
inaccuracies apparently.
the internet at large and Battlefielders are angry at that. And so one of the last like public things that Soderlund did in defense of this product that he was trying to hawk was say, "Hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to buy it." And so,
Which you just don't do.
the
to the
gamers
gaming
were like,
community. They always
"Okay."
get offended.
And that was it.
And therefore it is not being bought.
Yeah.
And they're looking at him like, all right, you screwed this up.
Yeah.
You're taking the fall.
He just mysteriously left.
Yes.
Yeah.
But don't feel too badly for him because he made nearly
bucks.
$50 million last year. In 2017, he made $48.3 million.
God.
And part of that was a $20 million bonus, or his salary last year.
Good lord.
Oh no, whatever will he do now?
Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this right. I'm at Kotaku right here. Soderlund's massive salary for the fiscal year of 2018, April 2017 to March 2018, included $46.3 million in stock awards, which granted him even more compensation.
Oh my
A large
goodness.
chunk of that stock came
Jesus.
from a $20 million bonus that EA gave Soderlund last year as an attempt to keep him around.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Well, you could keep singing that song and just have it be about money.
No, but it's very interesting,
be
like you
nice
said,
if
that
we
it
were
is timed
loaded?
right here. And how much is it related to that? And where he's going to go next? Like, he's going to take a year off and, like, hang out with, like,
What is this thing?
other poor millionaires, or is he going to invest into
Poor
a gaming
millionaires.
studio? Like, what's going to happen?
Albadar asks if anyone can pay him millions, please.
I believe you're gonna have to get in line, Albador.
He says, I need to
Yeah,
buy new underwear. Millions of dollars worth of underwear. Oh,
I guess at
Bro.
that point you want like fine silk only from the most best hand-selected silkworms.
oh yeah, dude.
Mhm.
Imported from China to master tailors in Italy.
Basically.
Exactly.
I just want to pay off my student loans and get that new PlayStation limited edition so I can play for a
Small
year and a
goals.
half
Small
before
goals.
the PlayStation 5 comes out.
Yeah? Oh my gosh. That guy. He made too much money.
Too much.
He can never be stopped. But I think that that is bringing us to the end of our topics for the day.
How are we
Probably
doing on
done.
time?
We are about there. Like,
We
I think
are-
we're over a couple minutes,
Oh,
which we can
okay.
get rid of in post.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of that in post.
If you
I can say that now. I'm an expert.
Yeah. our editor at large, Vast Empires. If you want to stick around, I can boot the stream back up. It's Friday. We have plenty of time. We're not going anywhere. So, Alvador, if you want to stick around and just talk with us, that's cool. We'll be around.
I will have to get some vittles, but that's a
Yeah?
separate note.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us on YouTube. We also have a Twitch channel and occasionally do things on Twitter. I think Vast is still going to upload her haul from RTX eventually. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, hey, I finally figured out the best way to showcase them.
Oh,
So
yeah?
I will.
Do
Yeah.
tell.
It took
well-
an entire 3 days to arrange it all?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to
There's
get
a lot
into
of
what
stuff, you know.
I'm not going to get into what my work week has been like, but hectic doesn't
Vicious.
even begin to describe it. It was
I
pretty
see.
vicious this week.
I see.
I actually
Vicious.
I had to work, like not just do my
Relentless.
regular work, like work. Work,
Like
work,
Rihanna?
work,
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Wait for it.
Yeah, but no, but I figured out how to actually put everything up, so I can take a really good picture of it. I've already got the pictures. I just need to toss them up.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be cutting the stream now and then restarting the stream, so we'll have a clean cut for the podcast.
Thanks for
We'll
listening,
see
folks.
y'all in about 2 minutes or so. Bye.